Hello, and welcome to the Beginner's Guide to Genshin Impact. My name is Azuark, and after discussing weapons, let's talk about what to do with them. During combat, you have 3 buttons you can push to make damage come out: Attack, Skill, and Burst. The simplest of these, the normal attack, will cause your character to strike with their weapon, dealing physical damage, unless your character wields a catalyst. The character moves through a sequence of 4 or 5 attacks before repeating the animations. The damage dealt by physical attacks is not impressive and scales even worse over time, so as you become more proficient with the game and your characters become more powerful, you'll want to use this as little as possible. But merely pressing the normal attack button isn't the only way it can cause an attack. If you hold the normal attack button, you get a charge attack. This varies based on the weapon, but for 3 weapons, you simply get a strong attack that drains stamina. Claymores wind up for a series of strong hits, and bows go into aim shot mode, but many characters are very specifically designed to work with their charge attacks. Finally, you might perform a plunge attack. If your character is airborne, at a height above a normal jump, they will plunge to the ground. There's actually 2 tiers of plunge attack, depending on if you're just barely high enough or if you're falling from a considerable distance, and the only real difference is that high plunges deal more damage. These are considered heavy attacks, so even outside of combat, they're useful for breaking ore and crumbling walls. Just find something to climb up onto and jump off. The other 2 buttons, Elemental Skill and Elemental Burst, are your character's 2 signature abilities, both of which are tied to their element. The Elemental Skill, referred to by many players as an E, is an ability gated by a cooldown that will usually generate energy. Of course, it also does whatever it does for that specific character. Kaya tosses a blast of ice, Amber tosses Baron Bunny, Lisa does whatever it is that Lisa does. Other characters might heal, summon a helper, create a shield, or more. Many characters, like Fischl and Kuki Shinobu, are defined by their elemental skill. However, the other button available is the Elemental Burst, aka the Q. A character's ultimate, in most cases, will be a more powerful ability than the skill. Often it's a powerful nuke, or a team-wide heal, or it puts the character into a special state. Bursts are usually the strongest part of a character, and as such, making sure you have their ability available is paramount. Unfortunately, bursts not only have cooldowns, but they require you to have a full bar of energy. So this means we need to talk about generating energy. You've undoubtedly noticed little particles streaking across your screen as you fought monsters. While they might not have an immediate and obvious effect, those orbs are providing energy for the team. More particles equals more energy, but alas, it's not that simple. First of all, some orbs are white, meaning they are element neutral, while many others will be colored. A red orb represents pyro energy, a purple orb is electro, etc. If you produce, say, a cryo orb, your cryo characters will receive a good bit of energy. Your other teammates will only get a third of that amount. Neutral particles split the difference. Second, the on-field character receives a larger chunk of energy than the rest of the team, which only receives 60% of the benefit. Because of this, if you see that you've created a number of particles that are about to zip towards you, you might choose to switch to a character who badly needs the energy. Players refer to this as funneling or batterying, and it's especially effective when you have 2 teammates with the same element. Why, you may ask? Because the most common source of elemental particles is using your elemental skill. That's right, your skill enables your burst. In addition, neutral particles are frequently generated by damaging or finishing off enemies, and there are specific cases like using a Favonius weapon where you might also generate particles. What this means is that the way in which you attack matters, because if you aren't using your skill, you'll never have your burst ready. Additionally, if you have a character whose burst is ready, you won't want to waste the energy from using their skill before their burst. Except, if you're quick, you actually can, because the orbs have a travel time. If you hit your skill and then immediately use your burst right after that, not only will you still gain the energy on the empty bar, but you'll save time where you can immediately swap off to the next character on your team. In combat situations where you decide to full send, you'll want to go through your 3 support characters using both their skill and burst before finishing on your main carry. Ideally, after a few seconds of using your carry and watching all the effects, and you should be ready to cycle through everybody again. This means that your team should, ideally, be generating enough energy to supply each teammate with enough energy to get their burst back from just one rotation. This is where energy recharge comes in. As a character stat, it has one very simple job. It amplifies the energy a character receives. If Jean creates 3 particles with her elemental skill, which generate 9 energy, she's still got a long way to go to bridge the gap to 80. Fortunately, in Jean's case, her skill is on a very short cooldown, so you might squeeze it in twice per cycle, but even if her teammates generate another 15 energy for her, she still hasn't picked up half. Jean has a personal bonus once you level her enough that basically gives her 20% of the energy she needs, but that still only takes her to 50 out of 80. So what to do? Give her an energy recharge weapon. With the free weapon available from fishing, she can get 40% ER, and now her 50 becomes more like 70. But if you read the text on Fleuve Sand Ferryman, it's actually even more than that. And just like that, even an expensive burst like Jean's can be ready to go in time for the next rotation. The importance of this cannot be understated. Your skills and bursts are literally where the magic happens. If you fall back on normal attacking enemies to death, the game slows to a very painful crawl. Understanding how to generate energy in order to be able to maximize the use of your bursts is one of the most important skills to learn, and consequently, energy recharge is the unsung hero that you need to prioritize first on your characters. Of course, once the meter is full, more doesn't do you any good, so I'm not saying you should only ever look for ER. Just that if your character can't get their burst up, either you need to change your playstyle to help them out, or you need to give them more energy recharge. And I think we'll stop here so you can absorb just how important energy is to the game. There's more to discuss about combat, but we'll touch on dodging, healing and shielding, shield breaking, and all that other stuff tomorrow. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.